This NFL Week 18 recap edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
One of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Best week 18 in a long time.
Yeah,
Not by a mile.
Shout out to us. Well, I mean, where to start? Hit some nice props. Hit a couple from the VSiN show. We hit our pleaser. If you listen to the VSiN show, we give out a reverse teaser, aka a pleaser, 25-1 over at Circa. That cashed.
How many weeks have we did? Was that 5 weeks ago we started?
Yeah, like I think we've done it 5 or 6 times on the show.
And a 3-leg plays 25-1.
Yeah.
Right?
So definitely plus
for
EV,
the season, baby.
Plus EV opportunity. I graded all my NFL win totals for the season. Ended up going 21-11, 4-2 on my locks. Kramer, you were 5-1 on the NFL win total locks. We also hit a lot of the division winners, including the Tampa Bay Bucks. That was a nice cash over there. I mean, just so much clean future action coming off the board. That feels really sweet. Denver Broncos to make playoffs plus 700. Yes, sir. And
yes, sir.
And Panthers money line hit both my locks. We ended up going 3-2 in the Circa, Ryan, finishing 55% in the Circa Million contest. I know highly rated tout services that would charge you.
Really?
They would charge you, and they don't give you this many plays to go 55%. They would be like, "Oh, look at us, we're going 55%. 55%. The show's free,
yeah,
and it's entertaining." What a great NFL regular season! Thank you, everyone.
How many releases do you think this service had? Do you think they had
no
more
idea.
releases than we had locks this year? 22.
It's a good question.
Wait, we had more than 22. 36. I was doing the bad math, but I was 22 and 14 on the locks.
Nice work.
Which that's good for 58%, Sean. Which
Yeah.
they would tell you long term.
Oh my God.
That is a pathway to profitability. AKA you could probably say I'm a plus EV better. If
Moneyline dogs were my highlight there, 44% up 6.5 units. Let's go.
yes, sir.
But as much touting as we had, shout out to listener Chris. Again, if you guys, and we'll try and get him on the podcast maybe later this week or at some point for sure. Also, the Discord line is open, so we want to hear from you guys. I'm sure there were some fun caches, some great season long stuff, or you want to throw someone in the locker. Maybe there were some bad beats out there that people are frustrated. Feel free to call in on the Discord line. Listener Chris, if you missed the segment on VSiN, now new friend of the show, hit us up like, hey, I'm one of the last 18 people in the NFL Circa Survivor. 18 people, $14.2 million in prizes. Chris came on the VSiN show. We had him on. Good guest, fun chatting it up. He was on. Now there were 5 people that ended up selecting the Tampa Bay Bucks. And
I have the breakdown.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I can show it on the screen here.
We hit it. We talked about this on the pregame show. There were 8 people on the Falcons, 5 on the Bucks, 2 on the Packers, 2 on the Colts, 1 on the Cardinals. So Falcons end up losing in overtime. I tried to tell people that the Panthers were a live dog. Those 8 folks didn't listen. Bucks got there, but man, was that a crazy sweat, especially when you think how much money is involved. And then Packers, they lose. So again, that's a brutal beat for Packers backers. Colts win in overtime. That was a hell of a sweat for the Colts there. And they got the field goal in overtime. And then the Jags, they had the ball, they had a shot, couldn't get it done. And then Cardinals get it done.
No sweat there.
Relatively sweat free. So 8 people splitting 8 entries. I don't know. Some people have partners, whatever. 8 entries splitting $14.2 million. Shout out to listener Chris taking home a massive chunk of change.
And not only that, we looked cool as shit too.
Yeah,
showing him, taking him up, bringing him up to Legacy Club, introducing him to the big man. I mean, what do you? All right, so you're a newly minted, almost $2 millionaire. What are you doing right now?
Whew.
Big time in us.
Well, I hit him up. I'm like, hey, would love to have you on the show. And he goes, sorry, kid, I'm hanging out with Derek. So he's going out to eat. I guess all the winners, they're doing a big dinner.
Nice.
Over there at the nice steakhouse there at the D. So yeah, I don't know what I would do. He's coming back. He's actually going to be out there next week, I think, for the official. They do like a whole event presentation.
As I was heading up to the room for the night, I said, good luck, and he goes, "See you next week." He was,
wow.
His confidence
he was
awesome.
pretty confident.
He spit in the face of the gambling gods, just like me.
He did. And shout out to Chris. Amazing cash, amazing ride.
I think right about 1.75 million in that range.
That's, just insane. And
that's life changing.
Yeah, I would say winning $1 million, certainly life changing. But
I'll be more entries next year, Sean. We were so close.
Were we?
Yeah.
The one we were doing freestyle, that one, well, we couldn't really say whether we were close or not, but the one that we
super close to that one, we only got one wrong.
What about the one, Ryan? I stopped looking, but the one where we planned ahead,
I believe we ended up with 3 weeks wrong.
3 weeks.
So we
wrong.
weren't that close.
Okay.
But one of them was the Giants in Germany.
Oh yeah, that would have been a horrible way to get knocked out.
Actually, I think that was the first one. No, actually, we only got 2.
Well, the first one was the one we got wrong.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I was not. Yeah. So we did get 3 wrong though.
Okay.
Solid.
Yeah.
We're getting closer. I mean, there are 19 weeks or 20 weeks to this thing. Yeah, I don't know. Solid season. Did solid. Had a nice end. I mean, honestly, the sweat on the Lions game. First, the sweat on the Bucks game.
Yeah.
On top of sweating vicariously through new friend of the program, old friend of the program, Chris. Also, I had a nice amount of money on them to win the division.
and I'm kicking myself because there was a moment in time where they were 5-1, and I was thinking of betting more on the Bucks for the division. I didn't, and I'm kicking myself. But so, Bucks division winner was one of our bigger hits. And then the Steelers, we gave out. I looked at the number preseason just to piss myself off. They were 8-1 when we did the team preview. Gave them out to win the division. Really fumbled the bag there late. They did get home. They did obviously get to the playoffs. They were one of our. I think we both locked them up. Win total over. But yeah.
No, that sweat was solid for the Bucks. But then coming into basically my season was going to be defined on how this Lions game came out. I told you there was a tremendous amount of money at stake if the Lions won.
Yeah.
Because of Lions, basically the entire summer, Sean and I had been taking periodic trips. Like our Vegas trips calmed down in the summer, but every time we were out there, I kept betting more Lions division because it was between +135 and +150. And so, you think about, maybe you're putting some money aside to buy something. You put $100 into something, a couple $100 into something every couple weeks. Next thing you're feeling good. Then right before the season, I had this epiphany. Why am I not parlaying my 2 1 seeds to win their divisions, Chiefs and Lions? And I made the biggest bet that I had made on any future this year on that. And so, basically, I was going to have my like with all the bets this year, it came down to one bet, one team, and it was the Lions needing to outduel a 14-win Sam Darnold led Vikings team.
It's crazy.
A season after I gave him out comically as an MVP for the 49ers.
Yeah, and
just in case.
he's not in the MVP mix, which is crazy. That you're.
I asked you if Goff is because I do have a Goff ticket,
and he should be, but the odds just say there's no chance. But he's 15-2, and they're the 1 seed.
And he's now only him, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady have won 13 games with 2 teams.
That's a crazy stat.
He's the 1 seed in the better conference.
Yeah,
I said it.
Yeah, no, I was on the Vikings. I thought it would be
the 7th seed has 11 wins, Sean, in the NFC.
Yeah, well, I mean the what are the Vikings? They are the 5 seed.
They have 14,
yeah,
and the Commanders have 12.
Yeah, bonkers. I mean, it's just crazy. And I see Easy is in the Lions super fan, friend of the program. He is in the chat. We'll bring him on here in just a second. But before we do that, shout out to DraftKings playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning the playoffs. True story. And you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings. Love betting some anytime touchdowns. The number 1 place to bet touchdowns is on DraftKings. You first, any, many, our great segment, Ryan. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook and make your pick. And the odds are out for the super wild card weekend. We got the Chargers laying 3 at Houston, Steelers getting 9.5 in Baltimore, Broncos 8.5, Packers now up to 4.5. Ryan, I feel like we're seeing 3.5s. That's all the way up to 4.5 over on DK. Commanders getting the 3.5 in Tampa Bay. That's interesting. I thought that would be below 3. There's a lot of love in the market for the Commanders. We'll see what goes on with that Bucs team. And then the Monday night special, Vikings 2.5 point road favorites in Los Angeles against the Rams. We're going to be breaking them all down later on this week. New to DraftKings, customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. And let's hear from our buddies over at the Disclaimer.
Gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-3669. In Connecticut, help is available for a problem gambling. Call 888-879-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Blue Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Boyd, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
I feel naked, Sean.
Why do you feel naked?
I don't have my crown.
Oh, well, we'll have to get you a crown, right?
To get some crowns.
Joining us on the line superfan, a friend of the program here, defensive INT specialist amongst many things. Easy. Congrats to your Lions. They win the NFC North. They have the number 1 seed locked up, home field. The playoffs goes through them. Congrats to the Lions. Great regular season. How you feeling, Easy?
Yeah, I feel great right now. I mean, obviously going 15-2.
Crazy.
You know, you can't really help but feel great about it.
Yes.
He's feeling pretty high and mighty. I mean, coming off an absolute slaying of the Monday night slate.
Oh yeah, I'm still getting 17. Great feedback about how Easy just dominated the prop segment. Everyone's saying more Easy. Always enjoy having you on the show. So where are we at with the Lions now? You guys got dealt with a couple more injuries in the game, but you got it. You got your rest week. I think it would have been incredibly tough if the Lions would have had to go on the road after this Sunday night game. And the Vikings are in that spot now. It's going to be tough because, they've been playing all these like high leverage games, and now you got to go on the road to LA playing a team that rested this week, essentially all their key players. What are you expecting here for the playoffs for the Lions?
Yeah, I think the home field advantage is huge because of our defense and what we basically have to do now on the defensive side of the ball. You know, if you look at the game tonight, we blitzed like 70% of the plays on defense because we have to get pressure. That's how we won the game, is getting pressure on Darnold. Well, it's really hard to blitz on the road because it's dead quiet in the stadium. So being at home, that's going to help us immensely, having the crowd behind us when we're on the defensive side of the ball. Also think the defense playing as well as they did tonight is a huge jump for the playoff push. I think that was really good to see too. Obviously, Terrion Arnold getting hurt. Hopefully he's good and can come back. But yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of positives really for right now.
Do they have any guys that are going to be able to return after the bye?
So we already got Anzalone and Raymond back. They were kind of the two
big.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was just gonna say Anzalone coming back as a Lions guy. The defense was just so much better than it had been previous weeks. Is it just Anzalone getting back there? Obviously, the home crowd getting jacked up, I think helps. But what was where was this Lions defense these past few games, and what happened this past Sunday night?
I think it was a couple pieces. I mean, Anzalone being back obviously is a huge help because he's just a massive piece of our defense, both mentally and he just is all over the field. But it also, when he's the mic, it pushes Jack Campbell out to the strong backer, which is a huge help and is going to be a massive help when we play teams like the Bills, where if you remember that game, they torched us with running back because Jack Campbell had to spy Josh Allen to keep him from running, so the running back was open. Well, now Anzalone is there to kind of combo that and help that. But the second piece that I think helped us out immensely was Amik Robertson. He had one of the better games against Justin Jefferson that I've seen anyone play all year.
Well, he was like a high school teammate, right? This is one of those things where like everyone has the dude they played against in pickup basketball that maybe they're better than you, but you played against them enough where you know exactly what they're going to do before they're going to do it. And I don't know, it struck me as one of those situations where I actually filed it away as like, be careful now. There was some voodoo going on with the Justin Jefferson matchup, but yeah, I mean, it's just swagger. This is the grit part. Oh yeah, no, we're going to play man coverage and fucking strap in. Like you can see Dan Campbell saying that right now. Like, we got your back, strap in, hold every play. Hold that. Like I love the strategy. I love what they're up to. And yeah, this dude, Amik Robertson.
Easy. Is there a team in the NFC that you're worried about, that you're thinking to yourself, oh man,
he just said the Bills, so I don't think he's too worried about the NFC.
So, who is the number one team you're worried about facing?
It's probably the Vikings and Packers both, and not because I think that, they're a better team or we should be worried. It's just simply the fact that we've already beaten them twice already. The saying is it's hard to beat a team twice. Well, we've done that, and now we potentially have to beat them a third time. So that definitely makes me nervous, but I would say that's probably the pivotal part.
Yeah, that's what always people say, and it does make sense. Like in your head, you're like, well, they're playing them for the third time. They got to figure something out. But like, actually, I don't think the numbers really back it up. I remember most recently, Eagles beat the Giants 3 times in 2022.
The numbers actually suggest the opposite in the NFL.
That it is easier to beat a team the third time.
And I'll have to dig it out of my notes from a couple of seasons ago, but I think it's even a trend where like if the bigger the point spread, essentially, the more likely you are to sweep, which are very intuitive.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Well, easy. Any other? I'm sure you cashed a bunch of Lions futures, so congrats on that. Any other sweats you had? Any other big winners here? Anyone you want to shove in a locker? I mean, you're in a pretty good mood, but how are we feeling? Anything else you want to toss out there?
Oh, well, I lost my ass in the Lions game, so I'll start out with that.
Really?
Like, I think 2 bets hit. Yeah, I lost a lot in the Lions game because I thought it was going to be a high scoring, Justin Jefferson going for 200 yards type of game. And then, and obviously that didn't happen because we blitzed the piss out of Darnold. But I did hit Marvin Mims 2+ touchdowns. So 2 weeks in a row, cashing heavy on him. And also had a couple of interception bets and a couple sack bets hit that were in the Discord too.
Hell yeah.
God, I've been trying to tell these people, got to get in the Discord.
Get in the Discord. Bunch of other sharp handicappers out there. Easy. Appreciate you calling in, and good to hear from you. And we'll be hearing from you, I'm sure, in the playoffs. Maybe not next week because the Lions get the pie, but congrats. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from you. Let it ride, Easy.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
The one, like I always get FOMO on some of the 2 touchdown stuff. The one that was staring right at me was, and because I was on them, the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young 2 touchdowns. Like, golly, like I was, that should have been right in my wheelhouse. I did get the Josh Dobbs anytime touchdown. That was good. I think the biggest whiff for us, Ryan, was having the Chiefs have a pulse. it took a lot to go for me to pick against the Broncos, and I learned my lesson. Don't go against Bo. I'm a believer. Carson Wentz. It was the Carson Wentz experience all over again.
That wasn't good at all.
Well, and not to make excuses for Carson Wentz, I did that enough over the years, but that the backup offensive line for the Chiefs was really not doing him any favors.
Turns out Patrick Mahomes is good. Also,
yeah, makes me not that I was down on Patrick Mahomes, but certainly you get a little higher once you see old Carson Wentz out there.
Chiefs didn't cover any of the numbers.
38-0. I saw our buddy Jared tweet out the fact that the Broncos put up 38 points and I'm not going to cash this over 40 is insane.
I mean, yeah, the Chiefs won't be a close your eyes special. They don't play next week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting though. The idea of a team going into the playoffs coming. I mean, how many times has a team ever come off a 38 point loss and then play in the divisional round in the next game?
I think not 38 points.
I'm just saying that's probably a fairly
I feel
rare
like
outcome.
Yeah, they've rested their starters in some spots, and I guess it's not crazy, but 38 is certainly crazy. And I don't know, Ryan, those Denver Broncos. I know you're not a believer, but maybe you are.
I don't think that's going to be a dog that I'll be looking to get on.
Yeah, we'll have obviously we're doing the picks episode on Wednesday. We're going to be doing the FFPC playoff challenge, which is super fun. We'll be doing an underdog best ball challenge, which is always great as well. But Ryan, there are a couple of big news stories we have to talk about. Well, just circling back on because we kind of hit on the game when we talked about Chris winning his share of $14.2 million. Shout out to you, Chris, legend. But that Bucs game, not only did the Bucs get the win, but also this is crazy. They were up 8 points. They could kneel it out, but Mike Evans needed 5 yards to to keep his 1,000-yard receiving streak going and match Jerry Rice. And they ran a play for Mike Evans. And the Saints were playing all out defense on that play. I would have, if I was a guy in the Saints, I would have been the dick that would have been like D'ing up Mike Evans. Like, you want to pull your record bullshit on me? I mean, but there's a brotherhood in the NFL, and it's like, don't mess with another dude's money or stats like that.
Yeah. Also, he did decide to stay there. I mean, this is maybe a way for a team to reward a dude. I mean, how often do we see guys stay with one franchise anymore? So yeah. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get confronted by Gastineau about how his record isn't pure.
I did see some people tweeting like
Jerry Rice is going to show up with his fried chicken helmet.
You laid down. Well, and they had a post game interview with Mike Evans, and it was just an all timer, Ryan, if you can pull that up, because it was just classic.
You know, I'm a degenerate.
It was just awesome. It was right up there with some of the best.
Yeah, hold on, I'll pull it up here.
But yeah, I mean, Mike Evans, he's just a machine. Everyone keeps thinking, and he did, and he got the 1,000 yards, even being like when he destroyed his hamstrings. You're like, oh shit, when guys get old like that,
death taxes and Mike Evans getting it done.
But the injury didn't slow him down. He's still like firing on all cylinders. Are you surprised that line's 3.5?
No, that's not surprising.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I understand why you would think it's surprising, but that they did. The Commanders have had moments down the stretch here. This is the second time they'll be playing each other.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull this up. Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that number. I think.
And then there, someone is pointing out the Jalen McMillan got in trouble for doing the finger guns 15-yard penalty, and who's this? Danny Heifetz says awful move by Jalen McMillan there. Can't make any gestures referencing weapons in the NFL. Shame on him. Anyway, let's see if the Bucs can get a touchdown in their stadium so they can shoot cannons from a pirate ship.
Also, they've only called. Like, everyone does that maneuver, and they've only called it on
so
Darius
dumb.
Slayton and now Jalen McMillan. All right, here's
and it's a high leverage game. Like, just put away the flags for that ticky tacky bullshit. But yeah, this is Mike Evans asking what's he going to do to celebrate the historic streak.
How do you celebrate this milestone tonight?
I might go to the casino with my family. I might go just, hang out, watch some games, and play a little blackjack.
Is it any more special that?
No, they can't get where I'm going.
It sounds like he's in the high limit room, Ryan.
Or maybe they have the tables like up in suites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but I feel like if you're Mike Evans,
if you're Mike Evans going to a casino in the Tampa area, you're probably in a suite. You can't just sit at a table.
No, but there's a high limit area with a little velvet rope.
Yeah, and then there's a private room for him and some of his family.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll take care of him.
He's Mike fucking Evans.
If he wants to do some blackjack, they're gonna let him play. Also, some drama around the. We also have to talk about Ryan. Patriots firing Gerard Mayo. What's
your take on this? You can't give the man a path. I get it. This is actually. I'm going to compliment Robert Kraft here. I don't know if this is intentional.
You have to know when to come.
Well, we always say it's impossible to be the guy that follows the guy. You want to be the guy that follows the guy that followed the guy. And so why not have an intentional tank year with a guy who is part of the family? Use him as a little bit of a patsy. He's standing in front of that tank in Tiananmen Square, and then you just end of the season you drive that tank over him. Disposable asset. It was never going to work. We were on that from the beginning. He seemed underprepared. And so I guess you have to say well done by Robert Kraft to make sure you're not going into another year with, potentially a quarterback controversy after the way that Joe Milton looked. He was making Patrick Mahomes level throws. But who's the coach now? Vrabel? Does this?
Yeah. And supposedly Vrabel interviewing with the Jets was like a move by him to get Robert Kraft jealous.
So he wants that job.
I think so. Yeah. I think he likes being a Patriot. I think he wants to go somewhere where he knows he has a quarterback. He listed out the things he wants.
Yeah.
And it's like communication between the owner and GM and having a quarterback. So you would imagine if he has a good relationship with Robert Kraft, maybe he can, the GM is going to be on the same page as him. So he's going to feel pretty good about going to that situation. And then you have Drake May. Now, obviously Drake May know Joe Milton because as we saw, Joe Milton is the quarterback that should be starting for the New England Patriots.
He did make a couple of remarkable throws.
Yeah.
Also, they might not have won that game if Drake May is in the game. That's not a joke.
No. The idea, Patriots with Drake May, Ryan 1-9. Patriots with anyone else 3-4. So the idea that Drake May, as much, and I feel
they said he wasn't going to be ready.
I feel like I'm the only guy who's been kind of Drake May.
You have been. I still think he has shown potential. And
I said I would love to see some of those high level throws in games where it's not in garbage time. But it's
hard when you're a bad team to not have garbage time.
Right, but if you get off to a good start early on, like they did against the Bills, I thought that was a good Drake May game, and fine losing that, but Pats still need a ton of work on both sides of the ball.
All right, hold on. Breaking news. I think it looks like Darius Knox in the chat actually is helping us out with the quarterback controversy in New England. One is white, one is black. Thank you, Darius. That's very helpful.
It's a huge
helpful value add to the conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, that could help. This is what I would say. Joe Milton's got to play a little bit in the preseason next year. That's going to be fun. That's Joe Milton DFS lineup. Maybe retired from DFS next year. We'll see.
But I think, and I think I played him in some preseason stuff. Joe Milton's definitely an interesting. You can't really tell from one meaningless game, but he was making some NFL quality throws. He's got the arm. A lot of this situation, just hey, how does it shake out? Who does he have around him? Ryan, you mentioned DFS. We're going to be doing a bunch of fantasy projections, fantasy pick'ems, underdog best ball drafts for the playoffs. Those are so fun. The gauntlet, $25 entry can win up to $2 million or $2 million in prizes. All you got to do, go to underdogfantasy.com, use the promo code SGPN, get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000.
Oh my God.
Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
So the only firing has been Gerard Mayo.
Only firing Gerard Mayo.
That's wild.
Yeah. But
Shane
also
Steichen coming back.
Oh, they officially said that?
Dolphins bringing their dream team back.
And Doug Peterson, I don't know if they announced it or not, but seems like a formality. He's getting fired.
It seems like there may be some changes after like postseason activities happen, like their debriefs, basically giving, in the case of Doug Peterson, giving him the professional courtesy of finishing the season.
Yeah. Well, also too, if you're Robert Kraft, though, you probably know you're going to fire Gerard Mayo going into this week, right?
I don't know. All right. So is there a version?
If Gerard Mayo loses that game, is he still the head coach?
Is there I mean, Robert Kraft has. Am I mistaken, or did he not say like a couple weeks ago that Gerard Mayo will be?
Yeah. So he didn't quite say that, but it was like.
So what if this was simply ownership, like we had hypothesized all week, saying we are tanking? That's why you're going to sit Drake May down. Like ownership said, you're sitting Drake May can start, but then he sits down. Now, is it possible Gerard Mayo, hard-headed, was like, no, we don't play to lose games? And
well, that was also a very weird aspect of this too, because
out of spite,
if they were trying to tank, and why not just start Joe Milton? They had an injury clause for Drake May, or an injury excuse. Why'd they pull Drake May out of that game?
It felt to me like there was like ownership made some demands of the coach.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely a possibility that them winning the game is what resulted in this very I mean, again, a lot of times.
Or do you think Gerard Mayo knew, like, hey, this motherfucker's going to fire me. I'm going to fuck up his draft pick.
Maybe that, or I get, again, we don't have a large sample size, but Robert Kraft has generally in the NFL world seems to carry himself in a way where he wants to be liked. He does a lot of charitable things, and he does it with a big bright light because he wants people to like him. And I don't think you fire your coach no one else fired their coach right after the game. I think there will be more firings.
Yeah.
It does seem like there's a possibility that this was
chomping at the bit to fire him.
No, I'm saying like it was a reaction to we lost the first pick.
But to be fair, also Adam Schefter did have a report on the pregame show saying not looking good for Gerard Mayo coming into this game. So if he's getting those whispers,
then where did the reports come like 2 weeks ago?
I think they were just like kind of temperature check, and he's like, yeah, sure. But then when Robert Kraft saw that Mike Vrabel might be going against him in New York, then he's like, all right, fuck Gerard Mayo, he's gone. That's my casual take on it. I think he probably would have got fired either way. But certainly winning the game didn't help him. I would say if you're the Pats, you wanted that number 1 seed. You don't need the quarterback. Someone probably trades up to get the number 1 pick overall to draft a quarterback. Or at the very least, you could take Travis Hunter, who would be a nice addition to this Pats roster, I would imagine.
I mean, yes. I mean, you already have Christian Gonzalez. He plays in cold weather, so you don't have to worry about some SEC boy coming up to the north. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some speculation about Tyreek Hill now that he is told publicly. And if
Tyreek Hill came out and just said like, "Hey,
I listened to the entire thing.
Yeah,
and it actually he was carrying himself very well. He was answering questions about why their season was bad, why he got benched in the last game, all these things. He was being very like,
oh, he got benched. I missed that.
He got pulled. Whatever. But he was being very like captain of the team kind of stuff. And then out of nowhere at the end, he just goes, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm done. I got to look out for me and my family. Like, what? I was actually watching it thinking like, man, someone paraphrased this wrong.
Yeah.
And then he just went right off the deep end. I've seen speculation that Tyreek Hill maybe to New England. They're gonna have lots of cap.
Well, yeah, but if you're Miami, do you trade in division? But if New England, you have a super high draft pick. I don't know what you would get for draft capital for Tyreek Hill because you also have to pay him. But the exact quote, I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I got to do what's best for my career. I'm too much of a competitor to be just out there. Now, I would say this: does this impact Mike McDaniel's job future? Because
they already announced it. People,
that
Dolphins
he's already
are pissed. They're pissed. They want Stephen Ross to sell the team.
Well, okay.
Well, I'm just saying he announced the GM and the head coach will be back.
Now, what do you do if you're the Dolphins? What's your next move? I mean, the Dolphins to me are like the Cardinals, where you have this franchise QB that's not really a franchise QB, but what's the move to get better at quarterback? A lot of the defense for Miami was pretty good last year with Vic Fangio, but there was a lot of complaints. They didn't like Fangio's coaching. They ran him out of town. He's having an awesome year for the Eagles.
I don't know, because you obviously just paid him like this. If anything, there's a world here where this current climate for quarterbacks and all this failure maybe creates a world where it gets toned down a little bit. Because right now we're in that space where if you're good enough to be a starter, you have to get paid, and because of that, I mean, just look at the top players. All right. I'm pulling up average value of quarterbacks. Dak Prescott 1, Jordan Love 2, Trevor Lawrence 3, Joe Burrow 4, Tua.
Trevor Lawrence
5. Oof. So what are we like? That strikes me as an issue. The next group isn't as bad, but those guys are all making $53 million a year or more.
Yeah, it's a good gig if you can get it.
I just at some point, yeah, I don't know, and I specifically I don't know what do you do if you're Miami? You can't do anything with this contract. You're stuck. That's why you didn't fire the coach and GM, because you're like, shit, we might as well run it back one more time. Yeah, I guess.
But if they have to get rid of Tyreek, but maybe they should, because they obviously need players.
They can't really do anything with the Tua contract for 3 more years.
Oh man. Tua, like the biggest switch for Tua was he stopped throwing the deep ball.
Cap number this year, or cap number in 2025, 40 million. Cap number in 2026, 56 million. Cap number in 2027, 53 million. Cap number in 2028, 65 million.
All right, Ryan, let's get back to the playoffs. So Saturday, we got the early afternoon game, which you had a nugget about how every time the Texans
let me pull this up. This is actually
in the playoffs. They always have the Saturday afternoon game.
Every single time that they've played in the playoffs, the Houston Texans as a franchise. 2011, they played the Saturday game at 3:30 local time. Same in 2012, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019, 2023, and 2024. It feels like there's a little bit of discrimination towards the city of Houston, or is it AFC South slander? What is it? The Chargers don't sell the ticket. I don't know. I just think it just always ends up being what he wanted.
I would love to look at it from a division point of view. I feel like it's an AFC South just like slot.
Houston's a major market.
Slot. How's a slot?
Yeah, but it's the AFC South. They're always going to put them on that early Saturday.
I know, but Houston is the 4th largest city in the country.
Saturday night, Steelers Ravens 9.5. The spread is for that Ravens Steelers game. Any thoughts there, Ryan?
I hate it's like we're fish in the sea and we see a piece of bait floating and we're like, oh,
Tomlin is a dog. Could be hearing that stat.
How big? Let's say the number again.
9.5. It's the biggest spread.
Not a real number.
Obviously the Steelers offenses looked rough. I was trying to give them a pass saying that, like, hey, they played the 3 of the best teams in the league, 11 days, tough travel schedule. But they didn't do shit against that Bengals defense. So and Pickens, horrible game from him.
If I would love a curveball that includes Justin Fields being the starter.
But I don't think you can start him. But why did we not see any sort of Fields packages? Like, you just give him a little spark.
I don't know.
Broncos getting 8.5 in Buffalo.
I do have going back to the Steelers. I do have a slight. Tomlin would never play to lose a game, but I certainly think there's an element of keeping some shit in the back pocket, knowing that you're fairly limited.
Yeah, but you would love to play the Texans over the.
I also think there's clearly something in the locker room that's a problem. Clearly.
Well, I mean, the Pickens
vibes aren't a high.
I mean, the Pickens interview with Russ, where the reporter's like, "Yeah, Russ said you and him weren't on the same page on that interception. What do we got to do to fix that?" He said, "You said that? No. Russell Wilson said you guys weren't on the same page." He goes, "Russ said that?" He goes, "Yeah, that's what he said." He just put up his mask and then he didn't talk.
Real
Pickens
adult.
is a real weird dude. But I mean, that's the Steelers receiver. Broncos, Bills, early game Sunday. I'm going to do everything I can to not get on the Broncos there. But
what do you mean?
8.5's a lot. Packers, Eagles, Sunday afternoon. Eagles laying the 4.5. Probably
thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I thought 4. The fact that DraftKings, promo code SGP, has it at 4.5, slightly surprising. I thought maybe 4. Christian Watson, do you think
I'll take
he
my
plays?
flowers? Predicted that fairly perfectly. We talked about it earlier. I said 4.5, but I'd make it 6.5, but the market will make it 4.5.
Yeah, no, I guess I thought it would be, because I had seen like the look ahead number was like 3.5 ish. I thought
in hindsight, I wish I had bet that. That's a bad number.
4.5. Yeah. We'll get into that. Commanders getting 3.5 in Tampa Bay. That's a fun Sunday night game.
I'd say that Sunday game, the Sunday slate is fun.
And then Monday night, Vikings at the Rams. Sam Darnold looked pretty rough. Shout out to Vikings Kyle in the chat. Saw him, said it was tough day, obviously, for Vikings Kyle.
You can't make the Vikings a favorite here.
Really?
McVay versus O'Connell in the playoffs. The Rams pretty rested. This Vikings team clearly poured it out in the first half and then just got fucking throttled.
I mean, you remember Rams were a dog last time they played, and that was a Monday night as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. They won 30-20. They were a dog. I believe, who was it? Got the first touchdown for us. Josh Oliver. That was a sweet hit. Probably have to run that back. Rams aren't great against the tight end.
Where was that game?
That was in SoFi.
Okay.
And
back to the House of Horrors.
It's going to be tough. I mean, Sam Darnold first playoff start, and you don't like what you saw for him in like a playoff like atmosphere. So now you get a Stafford rested, Puka rested, Cooper Kupp rested, Kyron Williams rested, Blake Corum. I don't know how much it matters, but he did. Looks like he broke his arm, so I think he's going to be out.
So to me, I'm circling the Vikings, Commanders, and Broncos. These are the rookie quarterbacks. There will be probably 2 out of 3 of these games will have big blowout potential. We always see it. It's not quite the NBA step up, but there's always a team or two where making the playoffs is the goal. And
Vikings not a rookie quarterback, but first time.
Sorry. Yeah. First time playoff start. So I do think there's going to be some wide margins in 2 out of 3 of those games potentially. So I mean, the Bucks game to me stands out. The Bucks and Eagles game stand out to me.
Well, but CJ Stroud was he had a nice rookie start.
And that season, clearly there was a horseshoe in the ass a little bit.
Yeah, that's also true.
It got removed in the offseason and he's not quite the same.
Definitely exceeded expectations. And
I mean, yeah, that game's a little trickier to me.
Well, but also too, like, who's betting on the Texans? What, Ryan, real quick, if you had to guess, what do you think? Do they already have any betting splits?
Yes.
I'd love to know What is the least bet team right now? Now this is super early. Betting splits courtesy of Eason.
Let me see what we got here, because it's always we actually have both DK. All right, so let's go look at DK first. I can't tell you pure volume, but certainly the least popular side based on handle is the Texans at 3%, followed by the Packers at 4%. Now the Packers Eagles, it makes a little bit more sense because that's where the move happened. I believe the Chargers opened there, if I'm not mistaken. Let me confirm that.
Well, and some places did have some hypothetical numbers out last week. Then that Houston one sounds about right with the Chargers. So
yeah, I think it opened there. So I guess to that point, it's interesting that it's taking all this money and not moving. Now it's early. There's not a lot of money at this point. It just opened, but I would that's certainly something to keep an eye on. Now, what I said to you earlier was I think the Eagles should be 6.5. I wonder if it continues to move. Jordan Love being banged up. You kind of privately admitted to me that you would almost prefer a banged up Jordan Love to Malik Willis.
Yeah, I mean, I guess depends how banged up, right? Because someone playing through an injury like that versus a fully healthy Malik Willis, and they've won games with Malik Willis. He's, you have to prepare for him a certain way. So yeah, I don't know. I like our chances. Spoiler alert. I like our chances either way, but yeah.
Are we sure Jordan Love's going to be like, to me, this number is there's so many things that can cause this number to be much bigger. To me, that would be, that's why it stands out to me is one of the obvious sides. I'm not trying to put any mush powers out there, but I do not think this number should be 4.5. Bad number.
Yeah, we'll see. I can see that creeping up to 6, especially depending on how things go. And Christian Watson looks to be out. Joining us on the line, Daquan the Great. What's happening, Daquan? How was your NFL Sunday?
Whoa, hold on. Tell me.
Hold up, Daquan.
Man.
Sorry,
Daquan, start again. We
sorry, yeah, we cut you out there for a second. How's your NFL Sunday?
It's been a fucking shit of a goddamn Sunday for me, to be honest with you boys, man. All day I could only just sit back as I'm watching Michael Penix. He was looking pretty fucking good, man. I know we lost in overtime again, but God, fuck, why do we pay Kirk Cousins all that goddamn money?
I mean, as a Falcons fan,
defeats the point of the rookie contract.
Yeah, and you just go like, wait, why didn't we just use that money putting players around Michael Penix, have him start the entire season, get his rookie bumps out of the way? Maybe you do end up like, if he starts the whole season, maybe you do win the NFC South. Who knows?
Cap number next year, 40 million. 2026, 2027, Kirk Cousins cap number is 57 million.
But
sorry, Daquan.
Daquan, maybe the Giants, they need a quarterback, need a vet. They might be trading for him.
Maybe the Cowboys if Dak leaves.
Oh, that would be great. Dak goes to the Giants. The Giants are a new quarterback destination for every free agent. It's
stop
great.
It. No.
All right, but with all these shitbag quarterbacks in the NFL that have got great contracts over these last couple of years, which GM really deserves it? Which GM was the worst one? Was it bringing back Rodgers again? Was it the guy who took Anthony Richardson so early?
I will say the quarterback stuff's been pretty interesting in terms of just how quickly the opinion changes. But if you just look at the contracts, I mean, this is how crazy shit's gotten. Deshaun Watson is down to he's outside the top 10. If you just look at the annual value, so that's amazing. And obviously he restructured, but you signing Tua should have been a fireable offense.
So yeah, for me, I think the Falcons are in a weird place because I think you may have gotten it right with the draft pick. So whatever the mistake made with Kirk Cousins, at least you're balancing it out with that won't be as painful, right? Because you have a quarterback on a rookie contract to balance it out. Now the Jets, That's really interesting because you fucked it up with Aaron Rodgers. But then again, like, what were you going to do if you're the Jets? At some point, you had to push all in on a vet quarterback. Now I'm sure they're going to be drafting a quarterback, but they got to what, 5 wins, 5-12. Yeah, and who is the head coach? I don't know. It's tough. The Colts, the Anthony Richardson stuff. He was always going to be a project, I guess, in their defense. But yeah, like I
mean, you just need to go back and listen to what we said about him coming into the league.
Yeah,
nailed it. Well,
he's intriguing because of the upside and the athletic stuff. But like,
send him to the Giants right now.
DeForest Buckner, what he said about him, not optimistic about him in the future.
Stronger Tim Tebow.
Oh, okay.
It's true. Well, he's basically, if like Tim Tebow is the long tail on genetics.
Also, anytime Tim Tebow gets brought up in a quarterback discussion in the NFL, you just know you're fucked.
The difference is Tim Tebow would have never tapped out of a game. Like,
That's
you
true.
can say stuff about Tim Tebow, but he had heart.
Yeah, and he's a dork and whatever. But the guy
baseball too.
The guys that played with Tim Tebow liked playing for Tim Tebow, and I don't know. There's just a lot of when vets like DeForest Buckner are calling him out. That's a massive red flag. He needs to go to like the perfect coach to get him sorted. Maybe it's Shane Steichen, maybe it's not. I don't know what they end up doing. But Daquan, any early thoughts on the Super Wildcard Weekend lines?
Early thoughts. If Justin Fields gets in the game, the Steelers will cover.
All right, I like it.
All right, that's it. Let's make sure we get some anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get on that Justin Fields anytime touchdown.
I love it. We're already
about any other player for sure that I want to rock with, but that's it there.
We're already crafting all our.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to sit down, look at the numbers, get in a good process. All right, Daquan, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it. Let it ride.
No doubt. Let it ride.
Real quick, Sean, the Atlanta Falcons in 2025, they don't have a lot of cap space. They're
wonder why.
This is going to be a very interesting.
I mean, I think they're the biggest mistake for the Falcons. Raheem Morris he's not doing it for me. Joining us on the line, he's a Steelers super fan, and you can check out his podcast here on SGPN. The DJ and Doc himself, Sebastian. What's happening, Sebastian?
I've converted to a Steelers super fan.
Oh, what do you mean? Giants.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I saw you.
No, it's his filthy Pitt stuff.
Well, yeah, you know the Pitt College stuff, and I feel like you were tweeting about the Steelers a bunch, and in my mind, it switched over.
To be fair, yes, my wife is a giant Steelers fan, and we met in Pittsburgh. You know that city; they are.
So
I do have some love for Pittsburgh.
Happy wife, happy life.
Sebastian, I haven't seen any Giants tweets on the timeline in a long time.
What are you talking about? We won today.
There you go. Well, you won by losing, but Eagles came in as my lock. But,
here we go, victory.
How was your NFL Sunday? What do you think of these opening lines?
Yeah, no, look, cheers, gentlemen. I know it's been a while here. I was granted my first snow day in a long fucking time here. So I'm getting drunk, preparing for the show tomorrow. Figured I'd hop on and shoot the shit a little bit. I heard you guys talking about Justin Fields, which was interesting. I was looking for his anytime touchdown. They didn't have it, at least over on DraftKings. Did you guys see the reason they didn't play him the last 4 weeks?
No.
So his pick now converts to a 6th round pick instead of a 4th round pick because of the percentage of snaps he would have played. No. So there was a little bit of an abdomen injury, but definitely the Steelers gaming it a little bit. And I think, as Daquan was kind of pointing out, I could definitely see them in the red zone. They've been very inefficient in the red zone. So I could definitely see them putting in Justin Fields and really kind of getting some sneaky numbers there. So I really like that play if they hang the number on the anytime touchdown there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, no, I could definitely see talking to myself, and that was good angle, because watching that game Saturday, I'm like, why not put in Fields for a couple plays just to spice things up? The read option. It's not like he's horrible at passing. It felt like the Steelers offense needed a spark, and why not bring in a guy like Justin Fields? So I would be.
They want a 4th round pick.
Well,
as it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, Tomlin's always looking ahead to next year, get that winning record, just keep the scheme alive. If you remember in that Ravens game, the first time when they beat the Ravens in what was it? It was in Pittsburgh there when he he ran. It was like, what was it? Third or fourth down where he ran and he had it, but then he slid at the wrong time.
Yeah, he slid too soon.
He slid on third down. Yeah, and he picked it up on fourth down.
Yeah,
no, that's true. You're right. He did get it.
It was like classic.
His name was a curse word in the household for a little bit, and then he quickly redeemed himself. But
as you remember,
2 carries, 17 yards against the Ravens.
As we transition to draft season, I did point out I think I broke it nationally that he was quote unquote slow on the whiteboard, which we're still seeing that to this day, unfortunately.
Sebastian, you guys hit it hard there. The DGen docs over on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, breaking down a ton of injury news. What do you think is the big injury story going into Super Wild Card Weekend? Christian Watson. I haven't seen Jordan Love dealing with a hand injury. And maybe that's part of the line movement as well. Jordan Love not 100%. What's an injury story people should be watching?
Yeah, no, actually, that's exactly why I want to come on here. Munaf and I have been doing the Propcast episode Tuesdays, trying to get the information out early, but what better to get the information out right fucking now while we're still drunk, kind of off these sweats that we just did. So yeah, let's get into it. If I may, before though, I do want to throw one fucking nerd into the locker.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're always here for that.
Good. Yeah. Look, this fucking barista looking motherfucker, Mike McDaniel. He says he's an analytical guy. Well, you've got a player in Devon Achane that averages 11 yards a fucking touch. And you know what he decided to do? He gave him 11 touches. He got 11 fucking touches, 11 catches for 121 yards, and he decides to let Tyler Huntley throw for 41 fucking times.
That's insane. And how did they not have more designed run stuff, designed like read option stuff? I'm completely out of Mike McDaniel. Like I understand he's had to deal with some backup quarterbacks and stuff, but that to me is like when you show you're a good head coach. Like, oh, okay, I have a backup quarterback. I can scheme up a decent game plan. I can put this guy in a place for success. And this Jets defense, it's not like they're world beaters. And to your point, Devon Achane, 11 carries, 121 yards. What are you doing? You could have won this game. I mean, it didn't matter because the Broncos were never losing to the Chiefs, but my God, what a bad way to end your season.
No, just fucking pitiful. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't be that mad. I had a couple, all my futures that I was pretty heavy on. Bucks came through, even though I was sweatier than I would think. But Lions, Ravens to win their division. So I'm not that upset, but that game, like, I had a decent amount of money on it. It was one of my locks, but I mean, fuck, man, just watching that game, like you can run all over this Jets team. I don't know why the hell you have 11 for 121. Like why?
Yeah. I'm 41 passing attempts by Snoop is crazy.
Here's a Pro Bowler. Let's not forget Pro Bowl quarterback. Let him throw 41 fucking times like he's Joe Burrow.
Love the Pro Bowl.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Sebastian. Make sure you guys check out the DGen Doc podcast on the Sports Gambling.
Let me get these injuries real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Now I'll get out of here. Yeah, you're good. Really, just the biggest ones I want to hit on is Zay Flowers. This is someone who I do not think is going to be out there for this week. He's likely got an LCL sprain, grade 1, typically at least 2 weeks, if not 3 to 4 weeks for full recovery. So even if he is out there, he's gonna be super limited. Christian Watson, like you mentioned, carted off, non-contact knee injury. That means significant injury. It's gonna take a miracle for him to be out there. He's likely done for the season. Jordan Love, on the other hand, looks like he's going to be fine. He basically hit his funny bone. He's going to be perfectly fine there. And the other one, like you mentioned, I think you guys talked about it a little earlier, Blake Corum's definitely going to be out for the entire postseason. So Flowers, Watson, and Corum are guys that I am not expecting to be out there. But Jordan Love, John Mechie, and Najee Harris are guys I'm confident will be out there this next week.
Great. Love the early injury report. What was up with Najee? I'm blanking.
He got checked for a concussion. Both him and Mechie, they came out of the game for a concussion check, but they were able to return and get back in there. But sometimes you see people leaving the game and stuff, people get all freaked out. So
now Jalen Hurts, he's not quote unquote technically out of the concussion protocol. I think part of that was they knew they weren't going to play him, so they didn't try and practice him. They didn't test him to clear the protocol. My prediction is that on Wednesday, when they start practicing for the game on Sunday, he will clear the concussion protocol. But what is your thoughts on Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? So there's a 5-step concussion protocol the NFL has, and the last step is going through full football activities. To my understanding, I may not expect him to clear fully, just because typically what we see is a limited practice first and then a full practice.
Yeah,
I do expect him to be out there at practice, right? Maybe have a red jersey on for Wednesday and then Thursday. But yeah, I have very little concerns. I think if he was dealing with what we call post-concussion syndrome, you see it, a guy like Cedric Tillman, who's been out for more than a month with his concussion, you kind of hear that in the facility a little bit more. If it was a guy like Jalen Hurts' caliber, we would have been hearing those rumblings now. I think you're right. They had no intention of playing him, so why even risk kind of putting him out there too soon?
Great analysis there.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's the playoffs, so there's no more concussion.
Yeah, they get rid of the concussion. All of a sudden, it's one step. Is it the playoffs? Yes. Then you've been cleared. Great to hear from you, Sebastian. Give him a follow on social. What's your handle on X, Sebastian?
It is at the DGen Doc. Yeah, gentlemen, cheers. Obviously, playoffs. That means lines get sharper, but that doesn't mean that we can't make money out here. I'm very excited for this postseason. Yeah, Lions are my Super Bowl pick, so I guess let's go Lions for this time period.
Appreciate it as always, and yeah, make sure you check out the DGen Docs wherever you get your podcast. Good to hear from you, Sebastian. Let it ride. All right, Kramer. Anything else you want to get to before we close things out?
Yeah, I think a little nagging injury for Jordan Love could cause him problems with the way he likes to sit back and float stuff.
He's a guy. He has. It's hilarious that he took over for Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers always does that, like where he's like backing up, waiting to the last second, throwing off his back foot. And it used to work when he had that incredible arm strength and vision and lower body mechanics back in the day. But now, when he's up there in age, coming off a couple of injuries, you see it's just not quite the same.
Circuit data just started leaking in.
Okay, give us some circuit data.
Basically, and we'll get looks like they have taken some Texans money and some Steelers, but it's very lopsided the other way. So the Ravens popular, Chargers popular, Eagles, Bucks.
Any public dogs that if there was a public dog for Super Wildcard Weekend, who would it be, Ryan?
It looks like it. Well, even without looking at this, I would have told you the Broncos.
Really? Because all I've heard is hate for Bo Nix. And
it's a huge number. They have a good defense. They're a cold weather team. It's Sean Payton. Do I expect this number to go up or down? I would say that one to me, Bills Broncos feels like it should be 7.5. So
it's up to 8.5.
I think that comes
value.
Yeah, and I think more people will be on the Vikings than the Rams, and so I don't think that will be a public dog. So yeah, I guess
lots to unpack here, Ryan.
Commanders, maybe actually. There you go.
You're right.
Jaden Daniels. That will be the one.
Well, and the Bucs struggling with the Saints in the first half. I think people will talk themselves into Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, so that would actually be it. I would say Washington or the Denver Broncos, probably, to me, because I think people will lay it with the Ravens. They're so out on this Mike Tomlin team. They don't know Justin Fields is coming.
And shout out to everyone in the chat bringing up the Joy Taylor story.
Should we finish with this? My God.
I mean her awesome cans are going to destroy an entire sports network.
And the most messed up part is like the lawsuit just drags everyone. It just drags everyone
except
out.
Colin Cowherd and who else is
Colin Cowherd has his little fuck boy. We all know what he's getting into.
The rare NFL drama
like
here.
Sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our league.
Joy Taylor sleeping her way to the top. Did she also bring along Emmanuel Acho? Yes. Oh wait, here comes the studio executive. He doesn't like what he's seeing. Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless offering $1.5 million to hit.
So the shocking.
I mean, if you're Skip Bayless, how do you come up with that number $1.5 million to sleep with Joy Taylor?
Yeah,
I would start with 50 grand.
If you're Joy Taylor, how much are you going to whoop this hairdresser's ass?
Oh my God. And that is, if you have a wife or a girlfriend, the hairdresser, it's like attorney-client privilege.
But it's essentially
for the hairdresser to turn rat is crazy.
If you aren't up to speed with what happened or didn't go past the headline of Skip Bayless paying 1.5 million, basically some executive over at
I'm just laughing because someone in the Darius Knox in the chat said, finally, you guys are talking about Joy Taylor flashing those titties.
So some guy named Charlie Dixon, who's an executive of Fox, apparently was plowing Joy Taylor because she was trying to get a better job.
Okay.
And then Joy was given the advice that she shouldn't also be plowing Emmanuel Acho because that Charlie Dixon would get upset. But it seems like Emmanuel Acho, who is a class A piece of shit, was. I mean, what is it called when you're fucking someone who's fucking someone and that's helping you get a better job?
Yeah.
Is that a cuck?
No, cuck is when you're sitting there watching. This guy's like,
he's kind of sitting there watching. He's like, all right, honey, go get me a better job. And so anyway, a lot of the social media people are finding episodes of whatever the show was called where he is just really tongue up the ass, Joy Taylor. So shout out to Joy Taylor. She's an entrepreneur.
You know what I'm calling it? Skitching. Do you remember what skitching was?
Skitching. No.
Skitching is the act of hitching a ride by holding. So this is back when roller skating was popular,
like
or rollerblading.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hang onto the back of a bumper and you're dragged along. So skitching. There you go. The act of hiding. The act of hitching a ride by holding onto a motor vehicle while riding on a skateboard, roller skate, bicycle, or sneakers when there's snow. So skitching. I like that. All right. Good times. I'm sure the bet detective will be all over the Joy Taylor case if I know him.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah. Emmanuel Acho, not a great person, so I don't feel bad for him. Although it's funny because he has gone silent, which means that there's a lot of truth.
Emmanuel Acho's only activity on social media, NFL Week 18, he's an NFL analyst, was to delete a video of him like wishing her happy like a birthday or some video of Joy Taylor, and there's a bunch of him like clearly flirting on air.
Oh my God, it's not flirty. It's like it probably. Yeah, I mean whatever. He's he got his. He got a job. He's on. I mean, he's awful, but he's on a daily hot take show. So
Skip Bayless, real amateur, as Patty Melt's pointing out. For $1.5 million, you could have smashed 1,000 pros for $1.5 million and kept his nose clean.
I saw people have been doing a lot of conversion rates on what you could have.
You could. I mean, if you're one to pay for sex, one Joy Taylor at 1.5 million, you could. I mean, Ryan, we go to Vegas. There's clearly some ladies who work a shift.
Less than 1.5 million, I'd imagine.
Yes. But hey, God bless them. Who knows? They're all allegations at this point. And of course, we got a great week of Super Wild Card Weekend.
Skitching.
Okay. There was a video game Skitching. I got to look that up. I think it was on Sega.
Maybe we'll have to do some AI art.
There you go. Emmanuel Acho hanging on to the bumper.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Some just married cans rattling around next to him. I mean,
cans are right there.
How does he recover from this? He's a shout kind of guy too.
Yeah. Oh, cannot wait for the takes. There's going to be an avalanche of takes. Hey, great week of shows coming up. Appreciate everyone tuning in for the regular season, smashing that like button, hitting the subscribe, telling a friend. That's how we take down corporate gambling. It's you guys tuning in every week and turning other people on to the show. And of course,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Playoffs are going to be super, Sean.
Kramer, let it ride.